A very good morning to one and all, and welcome back to SISYA class. Hello students, I hope you are all doing well. In today's class, let's have a topic regarding to how do organisms reproduce. And it's a very important topic. Most of the questions and most of the diagrams are coming from this topic. So let's have a class regarding to this topic. And before starting the class, let me introduce myself. I am Sheila Dixit. I have a 2+ years experience and I am from Andhra University. So let's start a class, students. In today's class, we will discuss about how do organisms reproduce, like what is the reproduction process, the definition of reproduction and the modes of reproductions and the reproduction process, how it happens in plants as well as in animals. Let us see the definition. And while coming to the introduction, we have to know what is reproduction, right? What is reproduction? It is a simple biological process, right? We have to remember the word biological because it is the biological process where new individuals and where the species are developed, right? It is the biological process in which living organisms produce new individuals of their own kind. They will develop the individual of their own kind, and it is not essential for survival of an individual. We have to remember everyone have an ecosystem. In an ecosystem, everyone are fit for the ecosystem, but by some disorders and some diseases are get affected. So this is the word where every organism is fit in an ecosystem for the reproduction process. We have to remember that word. For not the survival of, not the reducing the diseases, or not for getting affected with any diseases. Fittest means it is regarding to the reproduction process. Okay, not for the survival of the individual, it is survival of the species. We have to remember this word. Reproduction is nothing but survival of species and developing the new individual of a organism or a particular species, and it is called a biological process. And it also maintains the continuity. Why reproduction is important for every living organism means it maintains the continuity of life. If there is no any reproduction, there will be no any continuity of life. So if you want to continue or if you want to maintain any particular organism for one generation to another generation, there should be continuity of life. And there is an important thing where the genetic information is transferred from one species or one organism to another organism for our parents, right? From our parents, the genetic material. What is the genetic material? It is nothing but DNA. The full form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. And this DNA, where it is present? It is present in the chromosomes. Where these chromosomes are present? These chromosomes are present in our nucleus, right? They are present in the nucleus. And where this nucleus is present? It is present in the cell, right? Our body is made up of millions and trillions of cells. Each cell have nucleus. These nucleus have work as a brain of the cell, right? And this nucleus contain chromosomes. These chromosomes contain DNA. And these DNA carry genetic material called genes. Okay, let's see. And this reproduction also creates some variations. This reproduction also creates some variations like which help in the evolution, right? Why we having variations? This is a simple question for everyone, students. Why we are having any variations? We are born and we are from our parents carrying these genes and carrying this genetic material, having the features and having the characteristics of our parents and our ancestors. Then why we are having any variations? This is the question from my side. Right, students? Why the variations are happening? Because there is a mixing of genes. We can find here when the reproduction process is happening, we can find the mixing of genes. Hence the genes getting from our parents, like from our mother we are getting genes, and from our father we are getting genes. So these both genes are mixing, and finally some different organism is formed. Different organism with different types of characters, not different, exactly different organism with the same species having some variations. It may be a color, or it may be some genetical disorders, or it may be some genes which are having in our body. These are the things, variations causing hair, color, right, height, growth of our body, or the diseases that we are having, or the immune system we are getting in our body. These are all the things we can find that comes under variations. Okay, variations are nothing but the characters that are getting from our parents due to the mixing of genes, right? It is very, very important. Why the variations are causing? Variations are causing and variations are finding in a particular organism due to the mixing of genes, right? And DNA copying and variation. Okay, while coming to the DNA copying and variation, before reproduction, cells must copy their DNA, right? Before reproduction process starting, or before the reproduction, every cell copy the DNA material, right? Every cell contains nucleus, nucleus contains chromosomes, chromosomes carry this hereditary material. That hereditary material is nothing but DNA, DNA is nothing but genes, right? And why DNA copying is important means this DNA contains the blueprint of the body. The blueprint of the body means the blueprint of our parents, right? Like our mother, like our father, like our ancestors, they have the blueprint of their bodies. So DNA contains the blueprint of the body. And during the reproduction, this DNA is passed. And when there is a reproduction process, this DNA passed to the next generation. Okay, how that DNA is passed from one generation to another generation means this DNA or genes are passed from our parents during the reproduction process, right? During the reproduction process, our genes are passed, our DNA is passed. So this is how our children or our parents, or from our ancestors to our parents, from our parents to their children to their children, this is how DNA is passing, right? This is called the DNA copying, and still we are getting variations due to the mixing of genes, right? Where we are getting the variations due to the mixing of genes. This is how we can find the variations in a particular individual. And but copying is not perfect. Why copying is not a perfect means, yes, we already talked about the variations like mixing of genes. We call the mixing of genes having a particular different types of characters from the parents, and this is called as variations. The mistakes occur due to the variations, and these variations are occur due to the mixing of genes. This is how the copying is not a perfect way, right? And importance of variations. Let us see the importance of variations. While coming to the importance, this helps the organism to adapt to changing environment. It is very, very important. When we are changing our environment or our location or our position or to a particular place, when we are going, this organism adapt to that particular changing environment. This is how variations help our body. And basics of the evolution also. Okay, the basics of the evolution also based on these variations. This is how the variations are very, very important to every organism. While coming to organisms, okay, while coming to the modes of reproduction, how many modes of reproductions are there, students? There are 2 modes of reproductions. What are they? One is asexual reproduction, another one is sexual reproduction. We have to know what is asexual and what is sexual. We already learned in our lower grades. Everyone know that asexual means there is involvement of only single parent, right? There we can find only the involvement of single parent. But while coming to sexual reproduction, we can find the involvement of 2 parents, right? There is involvement of 2 parents. While coming to asexual reproduction, only single parent is involved. But while coming to sexual reproduction, 2 parents are involved. Let us see in a detailed way the asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. While coming to asexual reproduction, we already know only single parent is involved in this reproduction process. And there is no any fusion of gametes. Why? Because there is no any formation of gametes, hence there is no any fusion of gametes will be takes place. So offsprings are genetically identical to the parents. Here the offsprings which are developed during the asexual reproduction are identical copies to their parents, and these identical copies are called as clones. Right students, what are these identical copies are called? They are called as clones. And you have to remember students, what is asexual reproduction means? It is a type of reproduction where only single parent is involved and there is no any fusion of gametes will be happen here, right? And the characteristics, while coming to the characteristics, we can find here only single parent is involved and no gametes like sperm or egg is here, hence there is no fusion of gametes will be happen. So no fusion of gametes means no fertilization, and offspring show very little variations because they are identical copies of their parents, right? Hence they show very little variations. And process is fast and simple. While coming to a sexual reproduction, the process is take longer time and it is not a simple process. But while coming to asexual reproduction, the process is fast and it is a simple. While coming to binary fission, one cell divides, okay, these are the types of asexual reproduction processes students. Like while coming to binary fission, the cell divides into two equal daughter cells, right? The cell will divides into, single cell will divides into two daughter equal daughter cells. Here bi means two, right? So the daughter cells also divided into, okay, the cell, single cell also divides into two daughter cells. So it is called as a binary fission. Fission means division, right? So here the cell will divides into two daughter cells, and examples we can find this type of reproduction process in amoeba and paramecium, right? This type of reproduction we can find in amoeba and paramecium, binary fission. Let us see the steps how it happens here. While coming to the steps, first of all, the nucleus that present in that particular amoeba body will starts in the division process, will participates in the division process. The nucleus will slowly participates in the division process, and hence the cytoplasm also helps to divide this nucleus, and hence further we can find two different daughter cells. Two amoeba is developed here. Two new organisms are formed. Two offsprings are formed. Two daughter cells are formed here. Right students, in binary fission we can find two daughter cells are developed, right? And example is amoeba and paramecium. While coming to the multiple fission, he can see the multiple cells are divided. Fission means we already know division. Multiple means not a single one, it is a many, okay? It happens in a many daughter cells, division will be happen here. So one parent cell divides into many daughter cells, right? One parent cell divides into many daughter cells at the same time. While coming to binary fission, at the same time two daughter cells are divided. But while coming to the multiple fission, single parent divides many daughter cells, and while coming to binary fission only two daughter cells are formed, and while coming to multiple fission many daughter cells are formed at the same time. Example, plasmodium. We already know plasmodium, it is a protozoa, right? It is a malarial parasite which causes malaria, Plasmodium vivax, and occurs during unfavorable conditions also. It will occur during unfavorable conditions also when the cell forms a cyst, right? This is what about multiple fission. And the next type of asexual reproduction is like budding, okay? Budding. Here budding is a simple process where a small bulb-like structure we can find in the parent body, right? See here, a small bulb-like structure will start to grow from the parent body, okay, outside the parent body, and it slowly develops, okay, the bud will slowly develops and it will start to grow, and slowly it will start to grow and it will finally detached from the parent body. See here, it is separated from the parent body. right? It is detached from the parent body and hence it will develops into a single individual, right? It will slowly develops into a single individual. So it is called as a budding, right? Budding is nothing but, students, a small bud-like structure will outgrow from the parent body and it will slowly develops and detached and removed or separated from the parent body. Hence the examples are hydra and yeast. The examples for this budding process is hydra and yeast. Right. And while coming to fragmentation, what is fragmentation? We already know fragmentation is breaking, right? Fragments are nothing but breaking. Fragmentation is nothing but breaking. Here the body of organism breaks into fragments, right? They will break into fragments. Okay, each fragment will again develops into a new organism. Each fragment will again grows its own body parts and it forms into a new organism. An example is Pyrogera. We can find at the surface of the ponds or the surface of the stagnant water, the algae is grown, right? This algae in Pyrogera participates in fragmentation process, asexual type of reproduction, and here these fragments will start to develop into a new organism, right? Yes, good morning. While coming to the next one, regeneration. While coming to fragmentation and regeneration, they both look like a same. But while coming to the organisms, examples here, they are quite different, right? While coming to the regeneration, the ability of an organism to regrow complete body from a body part, right? Here also, each body part can develop into a new organism. This process is called as regeneration, students, right? This process is called regeneration, right? Example is planaria. What is the example here? Planaria. And while coming to fragmentation, the example for fragmentation is Pyrogera. It is nothing but algae. Yes, hi Shiva Patel. Good morning and get into the class. And while coming to the vegetative propagation. And what are the vegetative parts of a plant, students? Anyone have any idea? The vegetative parts. What are the vegetative parts we call that present in a plant? Yes, good morning. What are the parts we can find that vegetative parts? In a plant means the root is a vegetative part and stem is a vegetative part and leaf is a vegetative part. Why these parts are called as vegetative parts means because they don't have any reproductive parts to participate in the reproduction. Okay, they don't have any reproductive parts to participate in the reproduction. Yes, stem, root and leaf, Shiva Patel. And these are called as non-reproductive parts, like they are called as vegetative parts because they do not participate in the reproduction process, hence they don't contain reproductive parts of male and female, right? Let us see the types of asexual reproduction process and where this vegetative propagation will be happens in plants, and hence these plants participates in this vegetative propagation and develops the new plant. Okay, new plants were grown from their vegetative parts of the parent plant, such as from the stem, okay, or from the root or from the leaf. These are all the things and these are the parts which participates in the vegetative propagation. And let us see the types of vegetative propagations. There are two different types of vegetative propagations. What are they? One is natural one, another one is artificial one. While coming to the natural propagation and while coming to the artificial propagation, we already can differentiate the differences. Natural things happens in a natural way without involvement of humankind. But while coming to the artificial, we can say there is an involvement of humankind. Right, students? There is involvement of humankind in the artificial vegetative propagation. But while coming to natural, there is no any involvement of humankind we can find here. Right? Let us see the natural vegetative propagation. This happens naturally without any human help. right? Without any human help, this process will be happen, right? And let us see what are they. First one is by stem. Okay, some plants have special stems that store their food material which is prepared by the leaves. Why leaves are called as kitchen of the plant? Kitchen house of the plant means because they prepare their own food material, right? They prepare their own food material and food is prepared by the leaves with the help of chlorophyll pigment, right? With the help of chlorophyll pigment, leaves prepare their own food material and the food is supplied to the whole plant body with the help of vascular tissues, right? With the help of vascular tissues. What are the vascular tissues, students? What are the vascular tissues? They are xylem and another one is phloem, right? These are the vascular tissues which carry the food material and water and minerals to the plant body. Okay, while coming to the vegetative propagation, the leaves prepare the food material and some stems store this food material and grow into a new plants. This is how the by stem vegetative propagation will be happen, and this stem will again grow into a new individual or new plant. While coming to natural vegetative propagation, let us see the types of stem type, how it grows. While coming to the plant, okay, potato, it is also developed with the stem like tuber, stem tuber. And how it grows means with the help of eyes, they are small eyes called as buds grown into a shoots. Shoots are nothing but plant body, right? And while coming to ginger, it is also a stem type, rhizome. How it grows means it underground stem spreads. Okay, underground stem will be spreads into roots and finally it develops into a new plant. And while coming to the onion bulb, by collecting the onion bulb also, the fleshy leaves store the food and again it develops into a new plant, right? Yes, and while coming to the sugar cane, it is also a stem vegetative propagation. And how it grows means nodes give rise to new plants, right? This is how new organism or like new plants are developed with the help of stem vegetative propagation, right students? While coming to the next one, root propagation. How it will happens in roots, the vegetative propagation, how it takes place in roots means some plants can grow new plants from their roots. Anyone have any idea how the roots will develop into a new plant? Give an example, students. Give some examples. The vegetative propagation that happens by the roots. Yes, Rajit and Hiva. Anyone have any examples regarding to the roots? Okay. While coming to the vegetative propagation that happens by the roots, the plant type is sweet potato. We all like to eat sweet potatoes, right? For example, how it grows, it develops bulbs. Okay, it develops buds with the help of roots. Roots will develop buds and it will again grows into a new plant, right students? It again grows into a new plant. And dahlia also. What is dahlia? A flower, beautiful flowers, right? And how it grows means tuberous roots from the new shoots. Tuberous roots will develop from the shoots and again we can find here development of new plant. These are the vegetative propagations we can find in the roots and we can find in the stems, right? While coming to the next one, by leaves. While coming to the leaves, some leaves also participates in the vegetative propagation. Give an example. By seeing the picture also we can give the example of that vegetative propagation that happens in the leaves, right? Let us see how the new plants are developed from the leaf propagation. While coming to the example like plant bryophyllum, right students? We observe the bryophyllum, the edges of the leaf. Okay, the edges of the leaves contain the margins which develops the leaf buds and grown into a new plant leaves, right? And begonia is also an example where the leaf veins form new veins. The veins that present in the leaves form new veins. right? While coming to the humans, like artificial vegetative propagation, still now we discussed about the natural propagation. While coming to the artificial one, here involvement of humankind we can see, okay? Humans will be involved in this type of vegetative propagation. But while coming to natural, okay, there is no any involvement of humans, right? It will happen naturally. But while coming to the artificial propagation, there is involvement of human, right? It does not happen naturally. So let us see how the artificial vegetative propagation will be happen here. It is the process where done by the humans for agriculture and for gardening and for commercial products also, right? Like we are having in a commercial plants, right? Cosmetic plants which are decorated for in our houses, or which are used for in hybrid plants for agriculture method or for gardening. These are all the purpose the humans are involved in this vegetative propagation. While coming to artificial vegetative propagation, let us see the cutting first one. It is a part of plant, okay? For example, stem, leaf or root is cut and planted in the soil, okay? Let us take a stem or a leaf or a root and do some experiment by cutting them, okay? Cut some part of it and again planted in the soil, right? Examples are roses plants, okay? Sugarcane, money plant. These are the plants which can participate in the artificial vegetative propagation, that is cutting, okay? By cutting the stem or by cutting the leaf of the plant or by cutting the root of the plant, we can again plant in the soil. The new plant will be developed, right? New plant will be developed. Right. While coming to the next one, then the vegetative artificial propagation, layering. Layering is also an example, or layering is also a part on the process that comes under vegetative propagation. It happens in an artificial way where the humankind will be involved. And it's a branch, it is a bend, okay? Take the branch of the plant and bend it towards the soil, right? See, this is how the plant is bent towards the soil, right? And the ground towards the soil means it is nothing but ground, and covered this bended part with soil. We have to cover that bended part with soil, and roots grow from the covered path. Still here the bended part start to develop the roots, okay? They will start to develop the roots, and hence it will again develop into the new plant, right? It will start to develop into the new plant. It will get separated or it will get detached from the parent plant and hence develops into a new plant, right? This is how layering process is done. Examples for layering process is jasmine and bougainvillea, right? These are the examples for layering that comes under artificial vegetative propagation, right students? Anyone have any doubt? Okay. While coming to the next one, it is also a type of vegetative propagation like grafting, right? And grafting, how the grafting is done here means the part of the stem, okay, the part of the stem will be taken from the one plant and is again joined to the rooted part of the another plant. Okay, we have to take here two different types of, like two stems of the plant. One is rooted part of the plant, another one is separated stem of the plant, and this both we have to join here. See, this is how we have to join them. This is how we have to join them, and further it will be turns into a new plant. It will slowly start to grow and develop the leaves and develop the leaves and stems and flowers, fruits further, and it will starts into a new plant. Okay, there it will starts into grow into a new plant. Hence this type of method and hence this type of process is called as grafting. Grafting is a type of artificial vegetative propagation, students, right? And the next type of artificial vegetative propagation is tissue culture. We already know that we are learning about this tissue culture from our 8th grade, right? This is the method where small pieces of plant tissues, okay, we have to collect the small pieces of the plant tissues, and again we have to grow it in a nutrient medium. Why we have to grow it in a nutrient medium means we have to nourish the cells for further development, right? And this will happens in the under guidance of humans, right, and in the laboratory. And these cells will develop into many plants in a short period of time, right? And examples like use of orchids, banana, rare plants are cultivated by using this tissue culture. Tissues are nothing but group of cells, right? Cluster of cells or group of cells will develop into tissues, and group of tissues are called as organs. Group of organs commonly called as organ system, and group of organ system will finally develop into a organism. Will finally develop into a organism. Okay students, anyone have any doubt? Okay, anyone have any doubt students? Regarding to the tissue culture? Right, let us see the next one. While coming to the sexual reproduction, still now we learned and we discussed about asexual reproduction process. Now let us see about the sexual reproduction, right? While coming to the sexual reproduction, it is the process where two parents are involved, but while coming to asexual reproduction, we learned only single parent is involved. But while coming to sexual reproduction, there is involvement of two parents. Okay, this is another mode of reproduction process. Now let us see about the sexual reproduction process. And here two parents are involved, right? And they are the parents like male and female gametes, and they fuse together to form a single zygote, right? And this zygote further develop into embryo, and this further embryo will develop into a new baby, offspring. And male gamete, female gamete fuse together, and the fusion process is called as fertilization. This fertilization process develops into a zygote, right? And this zygote slowly develops into an embryo, students, right? It will start to develop into embryo, which implantation will be happen in the uterus region, and here further there will be development of new organism, right? New baby, new offspring is developed here. And why sexual reproduction is important means it produces variations in offsprings. And do you remember students, in asexual reproduction we do not find any variations. Only little variations are found there, and there is an identical copy of the parent. But while coming to sexual reproduction produces variations. Why the variations are developed here? Due to the mixing of genes. We already talked about this, why the variations are happened, and why the baby is not exact similarly to the parent means due to the variations we can find here. And why variations are caused? Due to the mixing of genes. And variations help organism, these variations help the organism to adapt to environment, right? This organism help the These variations help the organism to adapt to environment and leads to evolution and ensures for the survival of species and continuity of the species, right? Sexual reproduction in plants. Let us see how the sexual reproduction happens in plants. Why the flower is called as a reproductive part of, okay, why it is called as a reproductive organ or reproductive part of a plant means they contains both male and female organs, right? They contain both male and female organs, right? Like male gametes are present here, female gametes are present here in the flower, hence it participates in the reproduction process where the new plant is again developed here, okay? Let us see. While coming to the parts of the flower, the male part is called as stamen. Okay, this stamen contains anther and filament, students. Right, this is the anther. Okay, this anther develops pollen grains. It produces pollen grains which help in the pollination process. Right, these pollen grains will fused with the female gametes of the flower. Let us see, this is the male parts of the plant. Okay, male parts of the flower. Stamen is the male part of the flower and it contains anther and filament. While coming to the anther, it produces pollen grains called as male gametes, and filament, it is a stalk that supports the anther. It is a stalk that supports the anther. These are the male parts. And while coming to the female parts, pistil, right? And it contains stigma, style, ovary, and the purpose of the stigma, it is the part that located on the topmost, okay, it is the part that is uppermost part of the pistil, and it contains and it receives the pollen grain. And here we can find sticky like substances. Okay, stigma contains sticky like substances. Which helps to settle down in the stigma. This pollen grain which helps to settle down the pollen grain in the stigma region, right? In the stigma region, the pollen grain will attach and settle down with the sticky like substances that present in the stigma region, right, students? This is stigma. And while coming to the next part, style, it is the middle elongated tube-like structure. Middle elongated part, okay, contains a tube-like structure. And when the pollen grain is settled down in the stigma region, hence we can find here the development of pollen tube. Right, students? Here we can find the development of pollen tube. Hence this pollen grain will travel through this pollen tube to the region of ovary and ovules. Right? And middle part is called as style. It is a tube-like structure. And while coming to the ovary, it is the bottom solvent part. Okay, it is the bottom solvent part that contains female gametes. Okay, what are the female gametes here? Ovules that contains female gametes. And from here, the pollen grain will travels with the help of pollen tube and it reaches to the ovary part called as female gametes. Both of these, pollen grain is a male gamete and ovules are the female gametes. They combine and fuse together to develop into a fruit, like into a seed. Further it develops into a fruit, or further it develops into a flower and develops seeds, and these seeds again participates in the germination process and develops into a plant. Right? This is how the reproduction process will be happen in the flowering plants. While coming to the pollination, how this reproduction process will be happen in the plants means with the help of pollination. This pollination is the process where the pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma. Right? Let us see how this pollination will be happen. There are two different types of pollinations. One is self-pollination, another one is cross-pollination. Right, students? What is the types of pollinations here? One is self-pollination, another one is cross-pollination. And while coming to the self-pollination, this process will be happen within the same flower of the same plant. Right? Same flower of the same plant, this pollination will be happen. While coming to the cross-pollination, different plants of the same species. Okay, it should be same species, but plants are different. And what are the agents that participates in this pollination means the agents are like wind is an agent for the pollination process which helps in the pollination, and insects are the agents, water, birds and animals. These are all the agents which helps in the pollination process, which carry the pollen grains towards the stigma, right? Even in the self pollination or even in the cross pollination, these are the agents helps to reproduce the particular flower, right? While coming to the fertilization in plants, how it happens in plants means the pollen lands on the stigma, right? The anther contains pollen grains. These pollen grains lands in the stigma part, and the sticky like substances present in the stigma part will receive the pollen grain, and it further helps to travel towards the ovary part with the help of pollen tubes. Right students, anyone have any doubt? Hiva, anyone have any doubt? If anyone have any doubt, you can ask your doubt. Let me clarify in this session itself. Right students, no one have no doubt? Okay. Let's continue with the topic. Oh my god, you are a class topper, very good. While coming to the fertilization in the plants, after fertilization, okay, the zygote will slowly develops into embryo. This embryo further develops into a baby, right? New offspring. And while coming to the ovule, okay, this zygote embryo will happens in the humans, right students? Fertilization, what? Fertilization is nothing but fusion of male and female gametes. Fusion of male and female gametes, right? It is called as fertilization. And while coming to the humans, after fertilization, zygote is developed, and this zygote is further developed into embryo. And while coming to the plants, ovule, okay, it participates in the fertilization. Yes, Rajit, you don't have any doubt? Okay, right. And while coming to the ovary, it will develops into the fruits. This is how the fertilization process will be happen in plants. And let us see the sexual reproduction in humans. How it happens in humans, let us see. These humans reproduce sexually with separate gametes called as male and female gametes. What are the male gametes and what are the female gametes here means? The male gamete are sperm, and while coming to female gametes, it is ovary, like ovum. Right? It is called as female gamete. With the help of these gametes, the reproduction process, the sexual reproduction process is happened in humans. And while coming to the male reproductive parts, let us see the male reproductive system, how it happens in a human. The male reproductive system is responsible for producing gametes. Right? They will help in the producing of gametes. What are the male gametes here? Sperms. And these sperms will delivery into the female body. Right? And this male body will secrete male sex hormone called as testosterone. We already know about this hormone testosterone. We learned in our 8th grade about the endocrine system, the hormones which participates its particular function in a targeted organ, right? This testosterone helps in the development of secondary sexual characters in humans like male. Development of secondary sexual characters that present in the male, this testosterone that present in the male body. And while coming to the parts of the male reproductive system, the parts like testis is the part, it is located, okay, in a pouch called, right here it is a pouch called scrotum. It is located outside the abdominal cavity. Why it is located outside the abdominal cavity means sperm formation needs, okay, temperature less than our body, okay, like 2 degrees Celsius lower than our body temperature it needs for its formation. So the functions like produces sperms, this testis produces sperms and produces male hormone testosterone. right? And while coming to the next part, scrotum, it is a loose skin pouch that holds the testes, right? And function is to maintain proper temperature for sperm production, right? The function is like to maintain proper temperature. Anyone have any doubt, students? Okay. While coming to the next one, epididymis. It is a long coiled tube attached to each testis, right? It is a long coiled tube attached to each testis. Function is it will store the sperms, and sperm matures here gain ability to swim, right? Swimming is nothing but getting some motility. Motility is nothing but movement, right students? Motility, it will helps in the motility of the sperm here. In this region the sperm will get mature, and the storage of sperms also will be happen in this coiled tube like structure in each testis. Okay, it is called as epididymis. And while coming to vas deferens, it is called as sperm duct. It is a muscular tube that carries sperms from epididymis to urethra, right? It carries the sperms from epididymis to urethra. It is a tube-like structure, muscular tube-like structure which carries further the sperms. And while coming to the next part, seminal vesicles, it is the gland that adds nutrient-rich fluid to the sperms. Here, the sperms will get nutrient-rich fluid and it combines with the seminal vesicles. Okay, seminal fluid is present here, and further it will forms into a semen. Right students, how the semen is produced, how the semen is formed here means the sperm will combine with this nutrient-rich fluid called as seminal fluid. Hence, the semen is formed. Right students? And this fluid provides energy to the sperm and helps in the movement of the sperm. Right? While coming to the prostate gland, it acts a milky fluid. Right? It will act a milky fluid to that seminal vesicles like seminal fluid. It protects the sperms and helps in their movement. Right? The sperm movement will be happen with the help of this milky fluid that present in that produced by the prostate gland. And where this prostate gland is present, see students, it is present here, the green, right? While coming to the next part, penis, it is an external reproductive organ and its function is to transfer the semen contained with sperm into the female body during reproduction process, into the reproductive system of female body. And what is semen means? We already learned about semen. Semen is nothing but the sperm plus fluids from the glands. What are the fluids? Seminal fluid. Right? The seminal fluid combinedly called as semen. And this semen, it provides nutrition, protection and medium for sperm movement and motility. Okay. Let us see the structure of a sperm. A sperm has three parts. What are the three parts, students? One is head, another one is middle piece of the body, and the last third one is tail. And the functions of the head, it contains nucleus. Nucleus contains chromosomes. These chromosomes carry genetic material called as genes, right? This nucleus contains genetic material. And middle parts of the sperm contains mitochondria. Okay, middle piece contains mitochondria. It provides energy. Okay, energy for the movement of the sperm. And while coming to the tail, it helps in the swimming. Right? It will helps in the movement and motility of the sperm body. And sperms are very, very microscopic. We can't see with our naked eye, and they are motile. Okay, they are motile because they have a movement in their body. While coming to the male hormone testosterone, let us see the role of male hormone testosterone. It will help in the male reproductive organs like secondary sexual characters of the male body and production of sperms and deep voice, facial hair and broad shoulders, like muscles development will be happen, and change in the growth and change in the body development will be happen with the release of this hormone called as testosterone. Now let us see about the female reproductive system, students. While coming to the female reproductive system, it is responsible for producing female gametes. What are the female gametes here? Ovum or eggs, right? It will help the female reproductive system receive sperms and providing place for the development of the baby. Hence the new baby or new individual is developed, hence provided by the space of female reproductive system. And there are some female hormones also developed in this female reproductive system. Let us see each. While coming to the parts, the ovaries are the parts of the female reproductive system. There is a pair of oval shaped organs located in the lower abdomen, right? Oval shaped organs, and functions of these ovaries are to produce eggs, right? Female gametes, and secrete female hormones like estrogen and progesterone. These are the female hormones which are secreted inside the female body. And while coming to the next part, fallopian tube, and this is the area where the fertilization is happened. Fertilization is nothing but the fusion of gametes. What are the fusion of gametes here? Male and female gametes, students. Okay, fusion of both male and female gametes is called as fertilization. And this fertilization happens in the fallopian tubes called as oviducts. Right? Ducts are nothing but tubes. Fallopian tubes in this region, fertilization is happened, and its function is to carry the ovum from ovary to the uterus. Right? This ovum is carried towards the uterus, and further the fertilization is happened with the fusion of both male and female gametes. And while coming to the uterus womb region, it is a thick and muscular pear-shaped organ. Okay, it is a thick muscular pear-shaped organ where the embryo attaches to the uterine wall. Embryo attaching to the uterine wall is called as implantation, right? When the embryo attaches to the uterine wall, and further the development will be happen here. Okay, during pregnancy the baby development will be happen in this uterus region. It is called as a womb. The baby development will be happen here. And uterus lining thickens every month. Why it thickens every month means to get ready for the preparation of pregnancy. Okay, to carry the baby, hence the lining of the uterus will be thickened every month during the pregnancy. And the organ cervix, it is the narrow lower part of the uterus, and it connects uterus to vagina, opens to the childbirth. It is the canal called childbirth. During the childbirth, the cervix will open. Okay, it is the area where the temporary baby will be here for temporary purpose, and further that baby will come out during the childbirth, right? And while coming to the next part, vagina, and it is a muscular tube leading to the outside of the body, right? It is a female reproductive organ, and functions of this vagina is to receive the sperms during reproduction process, and it is also a passage for menstrual flow, right? Every month menstrual flow will be happen here, and this is the passage for menstrual flow also, and it is also a birth canal during the delivery of the baby which is developed inside the uterus. And here, while coming to the menstrual cycle, if any fertilization does not happen here, fertilization, what do you mean by fertilization, students? Fertilization is nothing but the fusion of both male and female gametes, right? And if fertilization does not occur, the uterus lining breaks and comes out as menstrual flow, right? And this cycle occurs about every 28 days. It will occur about every 28 days. And the phases like egg matures in ovary, ovulation like egg will released, uterus lining will be thickened due to the preparation of pregnancy, and if there is no any fertilization, lining will shed and there will be menstrual flow, right? These are the main parts of the female reproductive system, students. And while coming to the fertilization, fertilization is nothing but fusion of both male and female gametes, like the sperm enters into the female body through the vagina organ, and it will travels towards the fallopian tube for fertilization, right? For fertilization, and after that the sperm will fuse with the ovum forming a zygote, and this zygote formed into a embryo. It will participate in the division process and hence the embryo will be developed. This zygote moves towards the uterus region, develops into embryo, and this embryo will further grows and develops into a fetus. Okay, fetus is nothing but new baby, right? And when the zygote attaches to this uterine wall, the pregnancy will begins. While coming to the development of baby, the zygote will divides and forms embryo. This embryo grows into fetus, new baby, okay, baby child. And while coming to baby, gets nutrition. How the baby will get nutrition and oxygen through the mother means with the help of placenta. Placenta nourishes the baby by getting nutrients and oxygen from the food which is taken by the mother, and it will last still 9 months. Hence this duration is called as gestation period, right? Gestation period. And these are the female reproductive parts. And while coming to the hormones that are secreted and released in the female body is, one is estrogen, another one is progesterone. While coming to the functions of estrogen, it develops the female secondary sexual characters and female features. And while coming to the progesterone, it will maintains and it will releases during the pregnancy time, and it will maintains the pregnancy as well as the uterus lining, right? These are the female hormones which are secreted by the female body. Okay students, we have done and completed the both modes of reproductions like asexual reproduction process as well as sexual reproduction process, and we learned the main parts of a male and female, right, and each functions of the hormones that are secreted in the human body, right. Let us see the PYQs which frequently we are getting in our exams. Like the 1 mark questions that we are getting from this chapter, like name the male reproductive organ that produces sperms. What are the male reproductive organs that produces sperms? It carries 1 mark. And where does fertilization takes place in human body? Where the fertilization takes place, it carries 1 mark. It happens in the fallopian tube. Okay, it is also called as oviduct. Right students? And while coming to the third question, name the hormone responsible for the development of male secondary sexual characters. What are the male hormones secreted for the development of male secondary characters? Like testosterone. Right students, testosterone is the hormone secreted in the male body for the development of male secondary sexual characters. Right, these questions carry each 1 mark. And while coming to the 2 marks question, what are the functions of testes? What are the functions of testes? It will develops and stores the sperm, right? It will helps in the development and producing of sperms. And why are testes located outside the abdominal cavity? Because sperm needs lower than body temperature, 2 to 2 degrees Celsius lower than body temperature for the production of the sperms. So it is located outside the abdominal cavity. And name any 2 female reproductive hormones and write one function of each. What are the reproductive hormones? One is estrogen, another one is progesterone, right? These are the 2 female hormones which are released in the female body, and these are called as female reproductive hormones, right? These questions carry 2 marks each, right students? And while coming to the 3 marks, describe the structure of the sperm. Students, it is very important. While coming to the biology, every question needs with a neat labeled diagram. It will help you all to score more. So if you attempted the question with a neat labeling parts, with a neat labeled diagram, you will score full marks in your exam. So practice diagrams in a very clearly with a particular labeling diagrams, right? Describe the structure of a sperm. It carries 3 marks. And explain the functions of different parts of the female reproductive system, right? You have to draw the diagram of the female reproductive system, as well as you have to write the functions of different parts that happens in a female body, right? It carries 3 marks. And while coming to the 9th question, describe the male reproductive system with the help of diagram. It carries 5 marks. Here also you have to draw the diagram as well as you have to write the parts and each functions conducted by the parts of that male reproductive system. Right students, it carries 5 marks. I hope everyone enjoyed and liked this class, and I hope it will be helpful for you all to study in your board exams. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share the class in channel also. And please everyone download the SISYA Class app. And thank you all for listening the class. See you in the next time. A very good luck to everyone and all the best for your further board exams. Thank you all. See you soon. Yes, while coming to the progesterone, the function of the progesterone, it will releases during the pregnancy time of the female body. Right student, it will releases during the pregnancy time, and it will helps the uterus and the lining of the uterus region. Okay, it will prepares the female body during pregnancy time by releasing this progesterone hormone. Okay, is there any doubts? Okay, right. Thank you all. See you soon. Bye.